We're talking with Carol Todd, mother of Amanda Todd, and she is telling us about the cyber harassment that eventually resulted in her daughter's suicide. And we appreciate you very much sharing your thoughts on this and what has happened. One of the big issues was pictures being posted to Facebook pages, and you persistently tried to get those removed. Tell us a little bit about how that happened.
Well, you know what, the funny thing, Amanda passed away on a Wednesday evening, and 2 nights later, some Facebook posts started to pop up that I was aware of. Mm-hmm. And so I had, of course, people monitoring it and watching over this. And so I got the phone call that this horrible site had come up, and it was apparently a photo of Amanda in autopsy. But that wasn't, I knew it wasn't true.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we called the RCMP, and everyone that saw it would hit the report button on Facebook. Mm-hmm. That one eventually came down, but not before people copied it. And so those kinds of pictures and other pictures of Amanda photoshopped started appearing on Facebook. There were many RIP sites, and because her YouTube video went global, we're talking in the hundreds range. So we tried for a long time to keep up with it, and it was really hard. And I have a group of really good supporters of the legacy. And every time someone found a web link of Amanda via Facebook, I mean, there's other ones on various social media sites too, they would report it, and we've kept it all logged onto a document. And so some came down, some didn't come down. I at the time, I found it very hard to connect with Facebook to get some of these down. But recently they've all started to disappear.
Okay.
And I know that Facebook has been very resourceful and helpful with that. Saying that, 200 disappeared, but we have 200 more coming up. Right. Amanda was endearing to all of us. We all remember her now, and I guess that other piece is that there's that other group of people who are continuing to remember her in a negative way, right? And we call them trolls, and we're not supposed to feed them, so we'll quietly take those ones down, and hopefully something will be in place so no more can pop up with Amanda's name on it. Imposter sites, people pretending to be my daughter or even pretending to be me after her death, came up on Twitter, and it was really funny. I've never experienced it, and it was a couple days after Amanda's death, and I'm on Twitter. I've had a journalist with me, and we were monitoring what was going on, and there was a site popped up, and it was Carol Todd, Amanda's mom, and whoever was at the other end of the site was actually answering, and we were watching the feed, and someone would say, "I'm sorry for your daughter's death," and this person would go, "I miss her so terribly, she was a wonderful girl," and we're looking at this. It wasn't so hard to get it down on Twitter, except that they wanted legal documents faxed to them and things like that. It took a while, but it did eventually come down. Mm-hmm. But those are the things that happen that aren't right on social media. So,
right, and there's an issue that we haven't talked about yet either, and that is the bystanders. That there are bullies and there are the people they go after, but usually there's a great majority of people who maybe are witness to this, or they hear it or they see it and just figure, well, that's not my issue.
We have to, I think, if you want to talk about it in a visual sense, because here we are on radio, so you think of 100 people in a line, and you might have 10 of them at the beginning who are the ones who are bulliers, the ones who have the bullying behaviors, and at the end of the line there's the 10% that are victims. In the middle, we have 80% left. That's 80 people. And those 80 people are what I would call the bystanders. They can see what may happen to the victims, or they can see what happens when the person with bullying behaviors goes after the victims, but lots of times they say nothing. So if we could encourage those bystanders to speak up and be strong and support that the victim and stand up for the victims, maybe that would get the 10% that are bullying to be quiet and to learn better. Because now you have 80 people telling the 10 people that their behaviors aren't acceptable to society and they need to learn from their actions, kindness, respect, and all that stuff.
Well, it's often said that bullies are essentially cowards inside, and that even though the 80% may be afraid of them, many times drawing the line, going through the channels of enforcement and so on, it really, the problem can evaporate in some cases.
Because like when you talk about the 80%, 10%, and that is really effective when it's real. Like when it's real physical world, you can touch it. Unfortunately, those 80% also, when they see something happening online, they need to somehow speak up to those people online. Hiding behind a screen and being mean and nasty and harassing, the anonymity is what makes that person strong. And so if that person had to come out from behind the screen, they would probably not say half the things that they said. And so finding the answer to that problem is a worldwide solution. We need to work together to make it happen.
Right, and we're very happy that you've agreed to serve on the advisory board for the Social Network Association, which we are launching right now. And the whole idea is to provide a platform for social network owners, operators, managers, and so forth to get together to develop best practices, set standards, and every industry has a trade association to set standards for the industry. And so I'm hoping that will be a motivator, a catalyst to develop that with those that are developing the technology and using it, and that have a profitable business from it.
I want to just say one thing. I want to remind everyone in the world that social networkers are really what make up social networks. Without you social networkers, there would be no social networks.
You mean the people that participate on them?
Yes.
The rank and
yes.
file.
The vast, what makes this such a large phenomenon, the millions of social networkers that are on social network sites really have the power and the control. What we're asking you to do is to join us, Carol, Todd, Dr. J, myself, join the Social Network Association and help us to help the social networks sites and the owners and the managers make their sites safe for kids. That is the bottom line. You have the power. You can go on any social network you want, or you can leave anyone you want. And we want you to go on the safe social networks. So that is our message. It's a positive message. Social networking and social networks are a powerful tool. We just want to make them work for you, for safety, service, and that's the bottom line. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on the Social Network Show, and we've enjoyed talking with Carol Todd, mother of Amanda Todd, and Jim Nico, and myself, Dr. J.
Thank you.
Thank you.